Welcome to today's workshop, Chemistry in Daily Life, How to Make Homemade Mayonnaise. Thank you for taking your time out and being here today. In this workshop, participants will have a brief introduction to kitchen chemistry and have a demonstration in making mayonnaise using simple and healthy ingredients. Okay, if you have any question to ask, you may type them into the chat box. If you disconnected, please join again. Okay, anything you may send to KLESF WhatsApp or type in the chat here. I will try my best to help you. Okay, so now I proceed to introduce our trainer today. He is Dr. Tey Lai Hock. Dr. Tey participated as STEM workshop trainer since 2014 under KLESF and UNTA. He experienced as kitchen chemistry demonstrator to the local community at the local public and private schools and distinguished science fair events such as Penang International Science Fair (PISF) and Kuala Lumpur Engineering Science Fair (KLESF). Okay, so now without further ado, we will turn the time over to Dr. Tey. Okay, hi Dr. Tey.
Hi, morning. I'm today from Department of Chemical Science at Utah. All right, so these are actually the slides that is actually already making your PDF version, and then it's already shared at the Microsoft Teams. So you will the formation, you see, how from a liquid. And then you can make this actually level that the mayonnaise is actually made up of more than 65%. It's actually oil, you see.
Okay, Dr.
So
Tey.
you need to imagine how emulsified. Okay, good. Yes, thank you very much. So yes, our slide is back. Okay, so I will introduce in the beginning part. Say, give you a general introduction about kitchen chemistry, or in chemistry, a little bit of theory behind how does actually mayonnaise is actually able to start being formed. Okay, so if we, of course, one of the things is the earliest thing that we can, the things that come up in our mind when we talk about kitchen chemistry is our mom, and then of course if we look at these slides, we have a famous chef. We have like say okay. Next slide, please. Okay, thanks. All right. So basically, as we all know, chemistry is all around us and affects every aspect of our daily life. But of course, all too often, we overlook the beneficial impact of the chemical science. So this is actually what's stated, you see, by the Dr. Simon Campbell. He is actually the president of RSC during his realm, you are at from 2004 to 2006. So basically, this way the kitchen chemistry is start being popular, start from UK and of course globally as well. Where actually they try to integrate, all these so-called branch of it, a study of it, so we can actually slowly incorporate it into STEM program. So of course, cooking is a chemistry. Now, the chef, that actually show here is known as Blumenthal. He is well, of course, a founder of his restaurant known as the Fat Duck. What it is that he's been famous for using liquid nitrogen. So imagine, if you want to make ice cream, you will take a long period of time where you kind of freeze your samples, your milk and sugars, before it's slowly converted to ice cream. But for Aston, what he did is that he use less than 10 minutes, you see, by just using liquid nitrogen, you can create all sort of varieties of ice cream. So this is where the start, you see, science has been actually implemented into the kitchen. Next slide. Now, today, you see, we will talk about when we created mayonnaise, you see, so things that actually pop in our mind, we talk about colloidal metals, you see, or colloid metals. So, of course, things like all of us, you see, depends on the three different states of gas, liquid, and solid. So all of it has actually molecules. We talk about molecules, so it's either, you see, you're holding yourself strongly, or you're actually leaving yourself like individual, like bumping around, you see. But of course, in a liquid form, you see, you're actually more dynamic. There are two forms, you see. So we have an immersible form and emulsification. So immiscible, you see, what will happen is that they are not forming a homogeneous mixture when mixed. So for example, as we all know that oil hate water, water hate oil. So no matter how you're going to mix them, it will actually eventually, at the end, eventually will split into two layers. So therefore, you will see that, the oil layer usually will be at the top of the water. The water will be at the bottom. For emulsification, it's a bit different from immiscible. So what it does is that it's actually a minute droplet of one liquid in another, which is not soluble or miscible. So emulsification, what it does is that we try to bind itself with the oil, and then so that it can actually hold together with the water. So therefore, it's like creating a temporary mixture, you see, among these two pieces. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is actually an example, is how the molecule of a solution, will travel, from one side to another side. So before we actually open up, the stopcock, so we see that the left and the right side, both molecules are very happy among themselves, they mingle with themselves. So and then when we slowly open it up, the cork. So then we can see that these molecules will slowly traverse from one side to another side, and then it will actually make, therefore, what is actually happening in the molecule. So, for example, let's say oil and water. So we can see that the molecule is actually holding themselves and traversing, and trying to mix themselves together. But of course, for immiscible, it will separate at the end. But for emulsification, it will temporarily mingle around, happily. Like this. Okay, so this is what exactly happened. So where we miscible and an immiscible liquid. So of course, immiscible you will have two forms, and then for miscible, you will actually see one layer only. So this is actually a quite normal phenomenon, where you will actually observe in your lab or even in our own. Okay, so for emulsification, okay, so this is a general cartoon, or figures, showing that how does actually, emulsion or the mechanism of emulsion, can actually form, So of course, we can have either a creaming, a sedimentation, percolation, or condensing, and then of course the last one will be the immersible. So condensing, creaming, where is actually the oil and the water, so the yellow bubble, is actually the oil, and then the blue color is actually the water. So what will happen is that if we are trying to create a cream, for example, let's say mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is actually a cream, example of a cream. So what it does is that you will see that the oil droplet, with the water, is actually forming, holding up together. So they're actually not like being separating into two different layers. And then we will look at this sedimentation. So this is another type of other sources of dressing. Sometimes we can actually observe this kind of phenomenon. So same as for flocculation. So flocculation is actually quite usually is for binding, for example, let's say organic compound or metal compound. But of course, for kitchen chemistry, it will be slightly different. And then you have condensing, another type of sources. You have this problem as well. And then of course, immersible. For example, we have the French dressing. French dressing is actually is under the immersible. So later on, we do have a short methodology or recipe, you see, to create a French dressing. But of course, today we're not doing French dressing, so we are more focused to mayonnaise, you see. But then we'll talk more a little bit about them as well. Okay, so of course, another cartoon from your right side is about dosa separation. Okay, now yeah, it's okay. Next slide. Please. Okay, now yes, this is the example. So we can see mayonnaise is a cream type and dressing. So we can see that the two types where you have the sedimentation and the immersible type. And then clam chowder again is the mixture on lens, you see, for different types. So of course the right side, the top cartoon where we can actually see is you have oil, emulsifier, and water. So emulsifier is an agent, you see, that actually holds, you see, the oil so that it can actually temporarily mix with the water. So of course, if it's the other way around, you have water, emulsifier, and oil, same as well, where you have an oil base. So we can see that the emulsifier is able to try to protect, or I would say protect, forming a layer, surrounding, you see, the water molecule, so that it can actually temporarily, you see, happily stay in the oil. So of course, again, same that's where you have a small quantity of oil, then your emulsifier, you see, will bind with the oil as well, surround it, and then happily stay within the water. Okay, now what actually causes emulsification? Okay, now today is it mayonnaise? We're going to use egg. Egg yolk is actually a natural emulsifier. One of the reasons is that egg yolk actually contains compound known as this actually is a bit what when we look at it is a complex structure. So of course we can see here is that this at the middle of this chemistry compound is actually a backbone of a bicycle, and then attached with a two hydrophilic more, you see, the acid, the carboxylic acid, and then of course the middle of the carbon. So you can see that the red color is actually more to so therefore you see it has this property of the oil. So therefore you see we call it the lake of the sea. So this way the emulsifying agent or lecithin, you see, will be able to bind, you see, with water or actually different from the phase condition. We can sunflower oil as well do have of course these also are quite interested in the try to reduce the cholesterol and so on. Actually is actually quite the dietetic very clean enough. Nutrition is okay, now when we think of this cartoon, so what happens is that how does actually is it the anti-philic properties? Our dishwasher detergent, dishwashing detergent, you see, do have this anti-philic property. Now imagine you see you try to remove, you see, oil and grease out from the our target area, you see. So our detergent, you see, will bind with the oil and grease and then just slowly clean it up, and then by extracting it, then remove it. So this is actually one of the example of this anti-philic properties. Next slide. All right, now history. So because today we're going to do mayonnaise, so therefore we need to talk a little bit about history. So how does actually mayonnaise come into our life? Now, of course, according to literature, published literature, so the claim is four historians. So these four historians have four possible theory of it as well for the origin. Of course, the most popular one will be the 1756, June 28. Now, one of the reasons is because it's actually a French duke known as Richelieu, where he managed to have a war with the British, and he managed to capture, the port Mayon. Remember the name, Mayonnaise, on the Spanish island of Minorca. Now, because they managed, you should start from the history. If we trace back, since 16,000 plus during the Dark Age, what it does is that the French is always discussed with the British, They always keep war until even now in the peaceful time, Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister of British, and the French, the ladies, they're also not very happy among each other, so they always say, you want to Brexit, go away, go ahead with the Brexit. So therefore, they are already a long history among themselves. So therefore, when every time, when the French win, they will be very happy. So therefore, a victory feast is actually created, to honor them. So therefore, the Duke, what he held, or he forced us, he shall say, we need to substitute olive oil, because keep eating olive oil, is very boring, So therefore, you want something different. So at the end, the chef managed to come out with a combination, a cream sauce using the oil. So therefore, at the end, the product name, was derived from it, so based from Mayon. So therefore, you have this mayonnaise. Next slide, please. Okay, now later on, in the 1900, so this is, as we all know, that the popular brand, Hellman. Okay, so how this actually being the origin of this is that the original founder, is a German immigrant. What it does is that his name is Richard Hellman. And then he being immigrant to New York, and then he opened up his first store. And then his wife homemade mayonnaise become a very popular and high demand. So therefore, he started packing everything in the glass jar. So in the 1930s, where actually the first factory is actually being established. Okay, so later on in 1932, fast food is actually acquired the Hellman brand because due to the popularity of it. So of course, beside that, there's a lot of variation of mayonnaise, made with cooking base, and then of course they call it a salad dressing in 1933 by the company, National Dairy Product Corporation. Of course, later on, this company as well is being acquired by Kraft, and then Kraft make is produced or renamed, branded, as the Miracle Wheat Salad brand. Which actually, most of these are actually common brand. That way, we actually can get it from the supermarket or hypermarkets. Okay, now raw mat or raw materials for mayonnaise. So mayonnaise has been regulated by the US FDA standard. Now it's very important. It doesn't matter whether it's a food or drugs or anything that you want to market. We have to go through FDA. So through the US FDA, it's stated. It must contain at least 65% of it. It's actually oil. Then you may have a little bit of vinegar and then egg. Now, of course, the FDA standard of identity is requirement for salad dressing, which is just quite similar as the mayonnaise. 30% vegetable oil, 4% of it is egg yolk, vinegar, or lemon juice and spices. So, of course, and then some claim soybean oil is the most common type of oil for mayonnaise production. One reason is that because, as I just now stated, soybean you have lecithin. So imagine your soybean oil have lecithin, your egg yolk have lecithin as well, so it makes much more creamy, more stable form of mayonnaise. Well, of course, vinegar distilled from distilled alcohol, but for us, current one we usually either the rice vinegar, or you may actually use the fruits vinegar as well. Now, of course, if we are not using vinegar, some may prefer using lemon, where we can actually dilute it with water. Okay, now this one is actually a French dressing. French dressing is actually just as I've mentioned, it's actually is immiscible. So where we can actually see two different type of form of phenomenon, or may say phases, where the oil and water will actually evaporate. But of course, this is actually the common phenomena because, as I stated, you see, they are immiscible. Okay, now, so today we're not doing this, but it's just some general highlights. So those who are interested, you can actually perform it at your place. Yes, raise hand. Yep. What's the problem? All right, now, yes, this is actually a protocol for French dressing. So basically, if you are interested, you can actually create it by yourself at home, where you can just use a 15 ml of vinegar and then pour in 30 ml of oil, and then you let it stand it for a few minutes. And then if you want, you can beat it again. And then after that, at the end, you can just use a bit salt. And it's up to you, see, no matter how much, what's the flavor that you're interested with. So this is the French dressing. As I stated, we are not doing this today. So we are doing mayonnaise, but this is just something like if as a side thingy. So if you're interested, you can do it at home. All right, now mayonnaise. So the recipe, you see, is actually posted previously by Miss Lee or Michelle. So you all, those who actually manage to prepare some of these ingredients, you see, please do, you see, have yourself later on, you see, play as well. Or you may actually want to create your own mayonnaise at home. Okay, now, so it's actually emulsion of oil and water, you see, which use egg yolk as the emulsifying agent. So ingredients, of course, we have one egg yolk, and then oil, cooking oil. So it doesn't matter what kind of cooking oil. So you can try soybean oil, olive oil, or sunflower oil, or even the blend of canola and the olive sunflower oil as well. So half a cup, approximate 100 to 120 ml, and then 1 teaspoon of vinegar, and then a little bit of table salt, and then of course we need bowls and mix with the even the best one will be blended. Okay, the methods, how we're going to perform it, you see. Okay, first of all, most important thing, all the ingredients have to be at room temperature. So of course, as we if we look at the eggs, so if our egg is very cold, you see, sometimes you see, you need it will be a bit difficult, you see, to separate your egg yolk and egg white, and then of course, if you try to beat it up, you see, by introducing A into it, so it will take a little bit longer. You see? So therefore, room temperature is very important. Now, to prevent salmonella. Now, as we all know, you see, raw eggs, raw meat, you see, or raw or where you have protein, you see. So we do encounter with a bacteria known as salmonella. Because to prevent ourselves, so usually we will try to get ourselves fresh eggs. It has to be very fresh. But then after that, another method where you can actually pasteurize or sterile your egg. Now, one of the ways is to pasteurize the egg. We can actually conduct it ourselves. Is actually using hot water. Now, of course, those who have a better machine or you have a good equipment, you see what it does is that you can actually maintain a temperature at 63 degrees for 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, you see, then you can actually take out your eggs and then separate them. So please take note, you see, higher than 63 degree, your egg, you see, will start coagulate because that's where we're actually making our soft boiled egg. So we try to prevent it. We are not making any soft boiled egg. You just want to pasteurize your egg only. But when you lower than 60 plus, 63 or 60 degrees, you see, one of the worst thing about is that you are actually preventing adequate pasteurization. So therefore, you see, in food safety, you see, it may not pass. So try, you see, around 63 degrees, if possible. Okay, next time. All right, so once we have cracked the egg, separate your egg yolk. So okay, so next what we're going to do is that add your egg yolk and then mix it with your vinegar. So 1 teaspoon is about 2.5 ml, or maybe a little bit more or less, or it's okay as well, no problem. So mix them up, beat them until the egg yolks are sticky. Then after that, you see, we will introduce our main character, which is the oil. I won't say main character, our major partner. So slowly add the oil, you see, with continuously and vigorous mixing as well. And slowly you'll find out, you see, the mayonnaise will thicken as you continue to mix it and beat it. Then after that, you see, you may season with salt. And then after that, you try to mix them or beat it again, you see, for another minute. Then at the end, you see, that's it. Your mayonnaise is complete already. So then, of course, you may actually bottle them in a sterile jar and refrigerate it. Now, please be reminded, there's no preservative in it. So the duration, I would say, best before, for your product will be around 4 to 6 days maximum. So therefore, you see, we do not, or I do not encourage, you see, large quantity of mayonnaise unless you are a mayonnaise fan. You see, what it happens is that you eat a lot of it. So try not to set it up yourself, you see, with too many mayonnaise. So as well, be careful as well, because it's majority is oil. Okay, next slide. I think that's it, I think. Okay, that's it. Okay, so basically those who are planning to perform your own mayonnaise, you see, so you actually may start collecting your ingredients and so on, you see. So in the next 5 minutes, you see, then I'll do a quick demonstration, you see, using 3 different type of oil. So we have the I have soybean oil, and then I have olive oil, and then I have another one is a mixture blend oil, commercial one, where you have the canola and sunflower. Then after we try to mix it, and then we will see the difference. You see, now different type of oil will give you different slightly colors, smells, and taste as well. So if those have different kind of oil, you see. So of course you can try to use palm oil as well, those general cooking oil. Previously, I think I did it before, so cooking oil actually will produce quite good result as well. Okay, so we'll maybe about 4 to 5 minutes. Then after that, I'll show the quick demonstration for it. Okay, thanks Wenxiang for the slides. So we'll have about 4 minutes. So maybe 11:40. You see, then I'll switch to the demonstration, a video live demonstration. Thank you. Okay, now before we're going to start the demonstration, if you have any question, you may feel free to ask. Okay, now we have 69 attendees, not bad. Because actually initially I target 50, but we have 69. It's a remarkable result here. Okay, so we have about a 3-minute rest. So later on, I will switch the live video demonstration. Thanks.
Everyone, sorry, I just want to interrupt. We also have prepared a feedback form, so I will be posting the link at the chat. So after the workshop, would appreciate if you all can help me to fill up the form. Thank you.
following the testing and testing. Okay. Now, yes, it's me. Okay, so this is the first time where actually I conduct the virtual demonstration or workshop. So of course, the not a professional kitchen, you see. So of course, I'm still able to demonstrate a little bit of simple stuff. Okay, so basically these are example of the maybe actually you see you try to crack yourself, yeah, a little bit difficult. But anyway, you will see egg yolks. Yeah. So try to remove, you see, as much as the egg white. Now, of course, these days you find out that in the Google, you will look at the Uncle Google. So it is that a lot of recipes they say doesn't matter, you can use the whole eggs and so on. In order to use the whole egg, you need the Dijon. Because the Dijon master they have an even higher what they contain the emulsifying agent as well, much higher. So therefore, you can actually bind, you see, or ensure that the cream you see is successfully produced. So for those, if you do not able to find any in the French market, you see the sauce. So it's just using the most general typical ingredients, you see. So what you were going to do is that you're trying to separate the okay, so just now as we look at the refer back to your recipe, you see, or the protocol. So we have the egg yolk, and then what we're going to do is we add the vinegar. Okay, now these are the general vinegar. So you can actually get the white vinegar from the hypermarket. So it's okay lah. I mean, you can buy the rice vinegar. So if you're rich enough, you can buy the fruits vinegar. You want a fruity smell, so much more better quality. You think that. But to me, it's normal, good quality like rice wine is more than enough. Okay, now maybe I'll change my mind. You see, rather than 1 teaspoon of vinegar, maybe we'll change it to half teaspoon. Here it is stated here is about 2 ml. Just now vinegar into our Mr. Yolk. So I'll try to do 2 different variations. So we're going to use the hand mixer. I would say hand mixer, the natural bitter or whisk. So again, follow the protocol. You have your egg yolk and your vinegar. You try to actually mix them up. Okay, so after you mix them up, okay, so actually your egg yolk will just beat up, you see. But then later on, I will try to, I'm not professional, yeah, first of all, so please bear in mind, be with me as well. So I'll try to create step by step, you see. Okay, then we're going to put it into another bowl, transfer it. So we have our egg yolk and the vinegar. Okay. So those who are actually working at it live or demonstration in your own kitchen, you see. Okay, so once you actually created the or make the sticky egg yolk, you see, using the vinegar, then you're slowly going to add in your oil, you see. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start off with the soybean oil. So it's about 125 ml. Okay, so what we're going to do is that these are general supermarket brand, so you don't have to like quality brand. So as long as soybean oil is okay. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna add slowly into the egg yolk and slowly mix it. A little bit of oil, mix it again. A little bit music behind, and then keep Now, most important thing is here about mayonnaise is that how you're actually mixing the oil, you see, with your sample. You need to increase, you see, the mixture, you see, vigorously and continuously. So you ensure that there's actually sufficient of air introduced into it, you see. Now, another thing, you see, sometimes you may find out that, oh, what will happen, you see, if I add a lot of oil suddenly and then try to beat or mix the egg yolk, you see. Now you find out that your mayonnaise may not be very smooth. So you try to prevent large molecules, you see, of this oil, you see. Well, we say that is inconsistent of smoothness, you see. So therefore, we add a little bit of oil and then keep mixing it, you see. A small amount of oil and then take. Now, this process, you see, can take you about maybe more than about 5 minutes. And after that, you see, it will be a great thingy, I would say. So those who have does not have any mixer, electric mixer or blender, you see. So hand mix, this is so-called the most convenient one, you see. And you may need a little bit of muscle power, you see, to actually keep hitting it and beating it, you see. So of course, it's some sort of activity, especially for the participants, you see. Previously, this event, as I stated, stated that we try to aim at the primary, secondary schools, children, you see. So let them have some fun, some activities, you see, mingle around. So of course, those, you see, parents and colleagues, you see, your brothers and sisters, you see, who are actually very young, and then you want to create some activity for them, you see, yeah, please do so, you see. This is something, well, I would say, an activity to joy, you see, among yourself. Of course, I mean, the proportion, you see, you can actually reduce it or increase it according to the ratio. So you don't have to be like, oh, am I exactly, let's say, 125 with 125 ml? No, it's not. You see, you can actually increase it to 250, 500, or even 1 liter. And then you could say that, oh, maybe I'm not able to eat so much of mayonnaise. 125, you reduce by another half of it. Here, 62, 62.5 mil. So yeah, it's up to you. See, it's up to the ratio as well. So how much that you want to add in, or you want to produce by yourself. You can treat it as the or maybe like a gift to your parents and families and friends. See, it's up to you. Yeah. So it's a sort of a culinary stuff. You see, where you can actually train your skill a little bit. You see, making stuff dressing. You see. Of course, usually you see those for those who love kitchen, well, cook their own food, especially the Western food, where they use a lot of mayonnaise, you see. This will be a great fun stuff. All right, so I'll just add. Okay, everything. It's actually a little bit higher, but it's okay. I mean, it's something quite fun. Now, of course, from the beginning, you see that is an egg sticky, well, yellow orange color of your egg yolk. And then as you slowly add in your oil, and then you mix it, and then you find out that the cream is slowly mixing up. Okay, so I'm going to show you what's the cream look like. Now, okay, so this is like the white color, creamy stuff, you see. So slowly it's converting, you see. So you see that it's quite thickening. Now, of course, sometimes if you want to make it into a little bit thicker, see, you can add a little bit extra oil, you see. No problem. Okay, now this is actually counted as it's a good start. So this is a soybean oil. So what we do is that the soybean oil is as we all know that it's the best oil, the most common oil for mayonnaise. Okay, now we conclude this. We're gonna add a little bit of salt, seasoning it. So it's up to you how much salt that you're gonna have it for yourself. So sometimes you may want to add spices. So for example, let's say you want to add cinnamon or a little bit of the peppers. It's up to you. All these is actually just based on your preference. All right, so that's it. So we can uh, keep them at the or store it at the sterile jar. So and then you can keep it in the refrigerator, and that's it. So it's up to you, you see. Whenever you want to enjoy yourself. But please bear in mind, this is a homemade mayonnaise, so we do not add any preservative. So of course, the only preservative here is the natural one. For 6 days, so in more longer than 6 days at least, you see. Don't poisoning, not like it. So please bear in mind, your health is very important. Okay, now, so this is actually the soybean. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next one. Is the blend of canola and sunflower oil. So say we have egg yolk. So actually I separated the egg yolk individually into different bowl. Okay, so same as well, half teaspoon of vinegar. You see, we're actually working or trying to make it now. You find that if your sample, you see, of your mayonnaise are slightly become thinning, there are actually few possibilities here. One of them really is that either you have a high amount of egg white within your egg yolk. And second thing is that it could be too much water. So please discard it. So therefore, is it you need to restart it. Of course, if you have fresh mustard or Dijon mustard, no problem. You can solve it using the mustard. One teaspoon of it. Okay, now running out of energy. So now I'm going to use the electric mixer. So a little bit noisy. Okay, not a good idea. Okay, so never mind. So yep, a bit powerful in okay, soy oil. Another use a bigger bowl. Okay, we can add a little bit of the oil as well.
Dr. Tey, I can't hear you.
Sorry about it just now. All right, now, yeah, as I stated, is it because the first part, is it, we have the cream, the mayonnaise, is it, using the soybean oil, so it worked perfectly. So what we have is the creamy sauce. And then if let's say, is it, if you're using another batch of oil, or when you try to create mayonnaise, is it, you find out that this is thinning, so it doesn't work at all, is it? So it means that it's actually not being cream enough, you see, it's like a liquid form, you see. So it's a bit difficult to share. So maybe it's actually a water lah. So it's not working lah. So you can actually okay. So of course, same as olive oil as well. So if you want, you can use the mixer and beater, you see. So to beat it up, and then after that, you can try to mix, get a better cream, you see. Okay, now the third one, you can try to use the olive oil. So forget about this. Olive. All right, we're going to use the hand mixer as well. Again, the electric mixer. This time we're going to use these. So again, your egg yolk is about half teaspoon of the vinegar. So before you're going to add in your oil, you see, beat your egg yolk, yeah. But so you may want to beat your egg yolk, you see, into a sticky version first, lah. Let's see whether it works this time, or else I'm going to use the hand beater. So ensure that your egg yolk, you see, mixed with the vinegar, you see. And then you feed it into a very sticky form of this egg yolk before you start adding in your oil, you see. Okay, so now it looks a bit much better. Okay, so we're gonna transfer into a big bowl. Okay, looks good. All right, so we're gonna use the mixer. Okay, that's it. Okay, we're gonna add a little of the oil into it slowly. just keep adding the oil and then keep mixing it. Okay. Fortunately, it seems that the olive oil, it doesn't seem thickening, you see. So therefore, you see, I'm going to stop here as well. Now, so therefore, you see, it's very important to have a fresh egg yolk, and then soybean oil, and then of course, if you have a cooking oil as well, it can actually help you to make the sauce efficiently, effectively, I'll say. Okay, so I think that's it for today. So of course, again, you see, whenever that you're actually eating it, you see, you find out that your egg yolk, if it does not form cream, you see, you need to dispose it because it won't work. No matter how much oil you're gonna add in, or how much egg yolk that you're gonna stick in, so you may want to discuss it. Okay, so at the end, of course, make sure that your egg is very. And ensure that soybean oil is the best oil. So that's the outcome of it. So from the tree, soybean oil is it has very protection. So keep in mind, these are the two notes. Fresh egg, and the best oil, the combination of oil, and then of course if you're seasoning, that's it. Forget about it. Okay, that's it. If next month we will have another project, but we'll be doing something else different now. So, of course, if you're still interested, so next month please join me again. So, and kinds of seasons and flavors and so as well. Okay, thank you very much. So I'll pass it back to Wichan, obviously. Hello, Wichan. Yeah, it's yours now. I'll pass back to you.
Yeah. Okay. Have you prepared your ingredients? So if you have it, you can mix it now. So, anyone, do you have any question to ask Dr. Tey? Okay.
I mean, it's okay if you want. You can actually leave your question as well. Then maybe if anytime you see if you want to reply you, then we can actually reply your questions.
Yeah, if you have any question, you can leave in these Teams, or you email or WhatsApp to us. Then I will pass your message to Dr. Tey. Okay, anyone? Do you have anything to ask? Or if you are mixing your ingredients, you can open your camera and show us your mayonnaise. That if you are shy to show us, then never mind, you can do it yourself. Or if you successfully make it, you can send us your photo. So okay, so do you still have any question? Okay, I didn't see any question here, so never mind. Okay, if you have made your mayonnaise, just share with us. Okay, so before I end this session, I just would like to remind that, so help us to fill up our feedback form. I posted the link there. Hope that you can give us some feedback so we can improve our next workshop. Okay, so since there is no further question, okay, so one moment, someone should help with the video demo. Oh, I see. Okay, so due to the internet, is quite the line is quite bad, so I think I will work with Dr. Tey again. So if he could shoot another simple demo, then we will share with you all. So we will work on another short demo and share with you. So or if you recorded your own video, also share with us so we can share with other participants also. Okay, so let's see any question. Okay, I think there's no other question, so I will just end the session here. Thank you everyone for joining us today's workshop. Sorry for all the technical issue, the line issue. Okay, so we will have more all this workshop in future. For this workshop, we will see whether we can record another short video. So if you are mixing your mayonnaise, kindly share with us also. Okay. Then okay, so if you like to know more about KLESF virtual event, please like our Facebook page, KLESF Kuala Lumpur Engineering Science Fair. We will update our virtual event at our page and website. Okay, so thanks again for joining us today. Okay, we again we are sorry for all the issue today, and thank you, Dr. Tey. So we will see you next time. Okay, that's all for today's workshop. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to all of you, and thank you, Wichan as well.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tey.